Hi, welcome to SoundTrap. This is a really cool creative piece of software that lives online that you can use to make music. You can use it to make podcasts and really just use it creatively to express yourself. It's a wonderful tool, and we're going to be going over some of the main parts of it today. So first, let's start up here with our timeline. We have these series of numbers. This is going to be kind of used to organize your space and your regions and anything else that you're kind of putting in here. There's going to be a visual representation of it that lives here in this timeline. Next, we have our track area over here to the left where you can add a new track, voice, piano, guitar, bass. They have a lot of different categories of tracks that you can add in, and then when you click one, you can go in and edit it in some detail, and we're going to talk about those details in a little bit. But this is our track area. You can also add tracks in this space down here. And then down at the bottom here we have our transport bar, which is going to be used to play, to go back to the beginning, to stop, rewind, or record if a track is armed or record enabled over here to the left in our track area. A couple other main things with SoundTrap that are really cool is you can collaborate. So if you've ever worked in Google Docs or any other online document sharing software, this is like that plus a music studio. So you can work with multiple different people on a project. You can comment. You can even video chat in here, which is really great. It has some really powerful features built in that you can use to create music with other people. And then right here we also have our loops as well. The loops are organized in a really cool way. They have a bunch of different categories, genres, qualities, qualifiers, whatever you want to call them, to help you kind of narrow down some of your selections of when you're looking at things. And you can go ahead and play them there, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about loops later in the next video, but this is that area for them and the collaborator as well, and those are kind of minimized right over here to the right. So in addition to those, there's a couple other things that we need to be aware of when we're getting started here. One is in our transport bar, there's a number of things like our tempo. We can tap the tempo here to set it, and then we would have to confirm, and it'll change the number down here. You can put the key signature of the song if that's something that you want to do. Once you add in loops, it might change the key to the song to the loop. This is really for a bit more advanced musicians who know what key signature they're operating in, or for somebody who says, I really want to sing a song in this key or do a song in this key. You can kind of mess around with that to help keep things organized as well. And then over here we have some metronome settings. We can change the sound of the metronome, the volume of it, the number of bars or ticks. One bar is 4 ticks that you get as a count in before recording starts, or you can turn that off and just record kind of at your leisure. So that's that area. We also have a number of things up here on the top. We have some of our different file options under this drop-down menu. We have a bunch of different edit functions that you can do, and there's also some different settings. And also, if you're looking for more videos on how to use SoundTrap, this is a really great resource that they include right there as well, if you're trying to learn from somebody else and hear about this, which with all of these different things, you should get curious. Click on things like the title. Oh, I can change the title. Great. Save. Oh, I can save my project. Cool. Get really curious about these things. See what they do. Find out. That's really the best way to learn, but most of them are pretty self-explanatory, which is great. Over here we have this little magnet will allow you to snap to grid, whatever grid that you have down here or in your piano roll. Different things that you edit will snap to the grid that's in place. You can change some of the grid settings right here, which is really useful. Again, experiment with these things, see how they affect your workflow. And you can also turn on and off this cycle repeating bar section tool that we got right here, which is really great. It's going to allow you to, after it plays the specific region, when it gets done with it, it'll go back on its own to the beginning and kind of play it in a loop, which can help you work in shorter, like 4-bar segments or just 8-bar segments, or if you're mixing something, help repeat it over and over so that you can do that. So that's pretty useful. And then we have this center area right here. As you hover above it, they light up. These are quick little shortcuts to bring up some things like the loop window, and you have to click over here to close it. You can bring up the patterns beat maker, which we're going to talk about in another video, but it's to make beats and input drum grooves in the step sequencer for SoundTrap. And there's a bunch of other things. Again, get curious with these things. See what they do. See what happens when you click on something. Change it around. And most importantly, have a lot of fun. One other thing that I want to go about showing you in this video is on our different tracks, we're going to get all of these different windows that come up that are going to show us some different things. So again, get curious. This is a Z and an X and a S and a D. When I play those on my keyboard, they're going to play in the piano sound that I have loaded here, which is really cool. You can change the range that you're working in by clicking on the octave here, which is great. Which is really awesome. You can hold down sustain and it'll make the notes run together. And uncheck it or unclick it, excuse me, to make it not sustain. You have a bunch of different effects here. You can add effects to the effects chain, and you can also input notes in the piano roll, which again we're going to talk a little bit more about later. Same thing, kind of looks the same for your audio track and your rhythm track here. Like I said, when you're getting started in SoundTrap here, the best thing that you can do is get curious, try to watch some of the tutorials, figure out what the things do, play around with it, have fun, and that's a little bit about some of the basics in SoundTrap.